Good Monday afternoon, General Biology Lab students. It's Dr. Campbell checking in with you. If you're sitting there wondering where to begin or how to get started, I'm here to answer some of those questions for you. Each week I will post a weekly announcement message, usually goes out sometime on Sunday, and this highlights only the most important things that I want to get across to you. So this is where I'm going to ask you to take the General Biology Lab oath. So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I will promise to always read the weekly announcements. Now, this is not a legally binding oath, but it will ensure your success in the course. If you start every week by reading that weekly announcement message, it pinpoints exactly what you need to focus on in terms of content and what assignments will be due that week. So that's a great starting place. The next step that I want you to take is to go into our Blackboard classroom over on the left-hand panel and enter into the header Learning Modules. And every week's module is located within that main header. So for this week, exactly, you want to focus on the Learning Module number 1. In there, you will find that we have our lab activities listed. So for this week, you have 2 lab activities. One is just sort of an introduction to science lab activity, where you're not actually going to be utilizing any of the material in your lab kit. You're just going to be reading some of the background information about what is science, how are experiments conducted, etc. The second is a general biology lab where you actually will get into the lab kit a little bit and start using some of those materials and supplies located in there. So step 1 is to go into the module, discover what the weekly lab activities are. This is where you might want to alert yourself as to how long the lab is going to take. In some cases, you will need to leave yourself a couple of days to complete the lab. There are a couple labs like that, and I'll point that out in the weekly announcement when that does happen. But a good idea to tap into that early in the week so you know exactly what is expected of you and how much time you need to allot for that. So checking in on that on Sunday afternoon is going to be too late, as in Sunday right before the deadline. The previous Sunday would be the best time. So once you have conducted the lab activities and experiments, then you will, that's just my dog, don't worry about that. Then you will conduct the lab report. This is not a standard lab report in that you will not have an introduction, a methods, and a conclusion. These are just general lab questions that pertain to the lab. Sometimes you'll have data that you'll actually have to enter into a table or a graph form, and sometimes you just be answering questions. Those lab reports are graded on a rubric, and you can find that in the Assignments and Guidelines folder located inside of every one of our module folders. Specifically there, you're looking for the lab report, guidelines, and rubric. And for that, you're going to be graded on 4 criteria: data entry, your accuracy, integration and application of the concepts and information, and then articulation of response. So you want your answers obviously to be very well detailed and show me really what you have learned, what you've conducted in the lab, and maybe apply that to some larger picture concepts. In the articulation of response piece, in some cases it would be necessary to include a citation if you're going to use any additional outside resources, and I would ask that those all be included in APA style format. The supplemental material that you might find helpful are within every module folder. There's a module overview. This gives you some background information as it pertains to every lab activity. And there's also a reading and resources link there. And if I find any helpful video tutorials or even lab setup tutorials, then I'll probably include those in the announcements forum, just on our general announcements page. If you have specific questions after you have very carefully read through the weekly announcement and all of the information provided for you inside of the module folder for each week, if you still are left with questions about expectations, questions over content specifically, then I would direct you to the General Questions Forum located at the top of our discussion boards link. I think after about week 1, you'll all feel a lot more familiarized with where to locate the necessary information, how to best present your questions to me on there. In the meantime, always feel free to email me any questions that you have as well. And I look forward to learning along with you over the next 8 weeks. So please dig into those lab kits, explore what content areas we're going to be discovering this week, and let me know if you have any more questions as we get started. Welcome to the course. Have fun.